What is going on, everyone? I'm Shadell. Welcome back to Rap Talk. And today, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for a little bit now, and I want to talk about SchoolBoy Q. Now, for anyone that's going to come at me for my whole thoughts on why I think Q is pretty much in the icebox and people forgot about him and people don't care about Q right now, all that stuff is really because he's silent, he's quiet, he's not active. And before everyone comes and jumps out the window, bro, I've been a SchoolBoy fan for at least on record for the last 10 years. And I thought that was interesting because I sat here, went on my old YouTube channel, I threw a clip or something right here for you to validate that. And I'm like, wow. I remember listening to, Habits and Contradictions 10 years ago, really liking that album and sharing my views when I did a review about it. And now I'm like, okay, he dropped Soccer Dad back in April 2022. I'm like, okay, new sound, digging it, liking it, all that stuff. Q's coming back. But then I'm not sure what necessarily happened. And as I'm sitting here going through SchoolBoy Q's Instagram, he's doing a lot of paid advertisements with Google on the Pixel phone. I think he has something with the PGA because he has something with Tiger Woods. And it's like, okay, I totally understand. Get your money, do your thing. Makes sense. But I'm not sure what's happening here where it's like, I'm looking on currently, the last album we got was Crash Talk back in 2019. And it's like, I get it. A lot of things have happened. We've had a whole pandemic. People have been busy. People have been trying to find their way to get out of this weird situation now that we're kind of coming out of the pandemic, 3 years later. And it's like, dog, where's Q at? We just had SZA drop. We just had Ab-Soul drop. Now with the whole news we had mid last year with Kendrick getting off TDE and starting his own, I'm not sure if you want to call it a label, but his whole thing with PJ Lang. I'm like, okay, what's happening with Q? Why is Q silent? Why is he just sitting here making money off these, not to knock him, making money off, do these Pixel ads, doing these PGA ads with Tiger Woods? Like I feel like there's a deeper story here. And it's kind of weird seeing J-Rock, you finally have Ab-Soul talking because him recently coming out that he committed suicide or attempted to commit suicide and what was going on with him, the chemicals of taking in this whole vape. And it's like, cool, we got Ab-Soul story of what's been happening with him for these last, 5 years or so since his last project. Now it's like, okay, Q, where are we at? So with this segment, with this video in general, I just want to encapsulate and kind of see what happens. And what my hopes for it being in 2023 now, I hope that we have a resurgence of SchoolBoy Q this year. Not sure why we didn't get an album after that whole release of Soccer Dad, which seems to be the single that was coming up at the time. Maybe the vibes weren't right. And it's very odd. I'm seeing how TDE structures things, and it's odd kind of seeing how, Ab-Soul, SZA, like they have some people included. I think even Isaiah Rashad, when he dropped his project, there's some people within the group listed on as features and some that aren't. And I feel like the thing I always liked about TDE, especially the early days, if you're a real fan, you know this, like back when Kendrick, Ab-Soul, J-Rock, SchoolBoy, when it was, pretty much just those four at the forefront before they started adding in Isaiah and SZA and everyone else that followed. It's like they kind of moved as like a unit, like an unofficial group, the Black Hippie group for those that are familiar if you're not Black Hippie. And it just seems like that group has like slowly separated and I guess segregated itself. And to now when I'm asking, okay, Ab-Soul has come out. Now we got SchoolBoy Q that almost dropped an album last year, but has kind of gone silent and gone ghost when it comes to music, and we haven't gotten anything since 2019. And then also along with J-Rock, I mean, I think at this point, I feel like this is a wild hot take. If SchoolBoy Q doesn't drop an album by, I would like to say by the end of the year, I'm just gonna assume that more and more people are just gonna sit here, forget about you, and not rock with you, because what I feel like happens is we're sitting here, we're getting older and older, the fans that like that music. Yeah, I'm sure you get a few new fans that have never heard about SchoolBoy Q when you drop a project and that hype train is moving for you for that project. But in this new cycle where just albums drop and no one cares, we saw this with Kendrick, we saw this with Drake, like you live for a week. You even see this with Taylor Swift outside of the rap genre. You live for a week and, past that, it's like, who cares? He dropped his music. People sit on it for a little bit. We don't sit on music for 6 months, a year, or whatever, and continue to rock with it. It's just here for a short time, and we move on. So I really do feel like the longer that SchoolBoy Q sits here and doesn't drop anything, which I wouldn't even say it's a strong feeling. I just feel like he's not putting out anything this year. I just feel like more and more people are just gonna be like, all right, well, SchoolBoy, I'm moving on to something else. There's new artists out here dropping projects, dropping mixtapes, all that stuff. Might as well just hop and listen to that. My sound is changing. I'm gonna rock with these new guys. Just my thoughts as I'm sitting here wondering, where has SchoolBoy Q been at in these last couple years, pretty much since 2019. And SchoolBoy Q, if you looked at his track record, I was curious about this. He's dropped an album the first half of the year, within the first 6 months. He typically drops albums come January. If not January, he seems to like that, like April, around that April time frame. You never really see him drop anything. So if he does drop anything this year, it pretty much would be around this time or within the next 5 to 6 months that we would hear from SchoolBoy. If not, we're probably not going to get anything the later half of the year when we get into July and August, September, all that stuff. We're not going to hear from SchoolBoy. I doubt it. With that being said, just my thoughts. Just a fan giving his thoughts of why I think SchoolBoy Q just needs to be moved to the icebox. He's chilling. He's cold. No one's really checking for him. If he drops a project, you have your core fan base that's going to rock with it. And that's cool to an extent. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people aren't really checking for this. Absol dropped a dope project. I'm curious to see. I'm not sure if he dropped a tour that's coming along with that project. But it's like, what's happening? I don't know. Maybe I sound like a frustrated fan. I'm just interested and curious to see what SchoolBoy Q's next move is. And I guess we'll go from there. With that being said, if you like the video, if you have thoughts, anything like that, drop them all down below in the comment section. I'm Shadell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.